Childhood has a way of warping memories, twisting reality into something you carry with you forever. Some memories lose their edges, while others sharpen like rusted blades. My name's Keith, and I was 8 years old when the nightmares began, in Gary, Indiana on Lincoln Street. My father, Joseph, played in a progressive rock band called Vesuvius. Their performances weren't just music, they were twisted stage plays soaked in horror, built to unsettle as much as entertain. The band's lead singer, Kevin, something, I can't quite recall his last name, but his face has stayed with me. Gaunt and cold, like a skull wrapped in thin flesh. His hollow eyes seemed to latch onto yours no matter where you stood, like they knew something about you that you didn't. One night, during a performance called Jack the Ripper, Kevin appeared draped in a long black coat and a wide-brimmed hat. His face was painted pale, his dark-rimmed eyes like sunken pits. My mother, Andrea, played the victim. She stumbled across the stage in torn fishnet stockings and a tattered red dress, her face streaked with grime and smeared lipstick. The music throbbed low and steady, a pulse of dread beneath the air. Kevin's shadow stretched over her like a dark hand before he grabbed her hair and dragged her off stage left, disappearing behind the curtain. The house lights dimmed, and cold air seemed to seep into the theater. Then the projector flickered to life. Photographs filled the screen. Horrific, bloody images of my mother sprawled across a grimy floor. Her face was frozen in silent agony, her chest split open with ribs gleaming wet and red. In one photo, her heart dangled from a butcher's hook. In another, her intestines coiled across a pool of blackened blood like twisted ropes. I couldn't breathe. My nails dug into my palms, my bottom lip raw from biting down to hold back a scream. Then I heard laughter. My aunts, Judy and Sandy, and my grandmother May, pointed and chuckled at the side of the stage. There stood my mother, unharmed and smiling, waving as if nothing had happened. But something about her smile felt wrong, too wide, too fixed. That thing waving at me wasn't my mother. I knew it. Before I could react, smoke poured across the stage. The next song, Grim Reaper, began. My father's eerie keyboard music crept into the air like curling fingers. Kevin emerged again, now cloaked in a tattered black robe, his skeletal mask sneering at the crowd. He moved slowly, pointing to audience members one by one. His gaze landed on me and lingered. His bony finger held still as if marking me. Our home wasn't any safer. Band practice turned into something twisted, a ritual of shadow and sound. Kevin, still in his Grim Reaper mask, would stalk the house in silence. He'd stand motionless in doorways, empty eyes locked on me. My brother and I would freeze, breathless, until one of us bolted for the safety of our beds, diving beneath the covers like they were shields against something monstrous. But the basement was worse. Dad always warned us never to go down there alone. At night, we'd hear noises, whispers, footsteps, and sometimes my father's keyboards playing by themselves. Those old machines had no playback feature, yet the low, haunting notes would drift up the stairs. One night, curiosity won over fear. I crept past my parents' room, relieved to find them both asleep. I can still hear the keyboard's notes slithering through the air, cold and wrong. I had to know. I'm headed for the basement now, heart hammering against my ribs. I open the door in the hallway and go down the stairs. The air thickens, damp and heavy with something foul. Each step groaned beneath my weight. The basement door loomed ahead. Step by step, moving forward, I reached the basement door, pushed it open, and crept inside. The music stopped. I could feel something close, so close I could almost feel its breath on my neck. My skin prickled. I stood there frozen. The silence was worse than the sound. The air inside was sour and stagnant. The shadows seemed too thick, too dense. And then I felt it. Eyes, staring, watching. I turned slowly, my blood iced in my veins, my breath trembling in my throat. That's when I saw him, or it. It stood in the corner, the thing they called Grin. Its face was a twisted mask of bone-white flesh, with empty sockets where eyes should have been. The corners of its mouth stretched upward, splitting its face into a grin far too wide, far too unnatural. It tilted its head and stared at me. Then, it grinned wider. I screamed and bolted for the stairs. The basement door flung open before I reached it, and my parents grabbed me, pulling me into their arms. To this day, we don't talk about that night. We don't talk about the basement, or Grin, or the way the keyboards sometimes play on their own. I still don't go near basements.